Hey, everything works today. I messed with the sound system a little yesterday during a wedding, so I was really hoping I hadn't messed anything up. Denny glares at me. Oops. All I did was play a CD on it. So we're almost halfway through this discussion we're having about the sacred art of loving kindness. These attributes of God as loving kindness that Judaism teaches. And so I think this is a good time to stop and consider why we're talking about it. I mean, why are we spending all this time talking about loving kindness in the first place? It's a pretty sounding idea, and it makes my job easier because there's lots of really good quotes out there about it, but that's not the reason. The reason is because I think it is essential. I think it's essential. We're looking at ways to be more loving and kind in daily life as a way of life, ways to kindle that flame and keep it burning and light it up in other people as well. I think it's essential for us to learn how to do this in order to become more of who we came here to be. I think it's essential to the fulfillment of our communities becoming what it came here to be. I think it's essential to the bringing about, to the manifestation of the vision that we hold together with all the other people in our international spiritual community. I think, frankly, it's essential for humans to survive. And you start from the premise that I think Ernest Holmes started from when he began to think about life and founded this philosophy. And that premise is that each one of us is an incarnation of the divine, of that creative spirit and urge that brought everything into being. And the practice of loving kindness, I think, reminds us that we are here as that presence, that we're here as the manifestation of the divine. That, as Meister Eckhart put it, it doesn't do any good for Jesus to have been born 2,000 years ago. It has to be born, that Jesus consciousness, that Christ consciousness, has to be born in every one of us every day. And we talked about at the very beginning how we were created in the image and likeness of God, meaning the image is in our bodies, in our faces, in our eyes, and the likeness is what comes through the way we are in the world. We talked about that, and that's what we're here to become more of. That's what we're here to demonstrate, to manifest in everything that we do. So in the next couple of weeks, a couple of things are going to happen. Can you hear this like echoing, or is it just me? Probably from the monitors. It's just me. Again. Well, I think it's from the monitors. I get really confused about how loud I sound out there and what's going on because all I hear is from up here. Anyway, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to change the beginning of the service up a little bit. And we're going to begin singing a song together, and the chorus goes like this. This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the Infinite One. May I become a reflection of the infinite God in everything that I do, in everything that I am, in everything that I say, in everything that I think. Because we're already the incarnation of that spark of divine life that's been spread through all creation, including us. And we remind ourselves that we're here to reflect that outward to other people. We light it in ourselves and we let it ignite it in other people. Because I think that in the Nag Hammadi texts, several times Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is not there, and it's not there, it's here, but we can't see it. And so we're here to make it visible. We're here to make it apparent to everyone, the kingdom of heaven on earth. And as a community, we're here to create a place where heaven is real, where we each respond out of love and kindness as our first action, and compassion as the ground of our hearts. And as we do that together in community, we start to create it out there as well, you know? We start to change together, and the only way the world ever changes is one person at a time, one mind at a time. Each one of us changing to the point where we are embracing this way of being, way of kindness, way of creativity, way of love, way of peace and joy. And we're in the business in this community of creating a kind world, creating a joyful and peaceful world. And our international community has a vision of that. The short version is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence and creating a world that works for all. And so what does that mean? What does that mean? What does a truly kind world look like? I think one of the most important things is that it means that everyone's voice is equally heard. Everyone is enfranchised. No one is left without a say. No one is left without a voice. Everybody has the opportunity to be heard, and we seek solutions that maximize the good for all of us, not just some of us. And the best way to describe the world of that vision, I think, is the South African concept we've talked about before, Ubuntu. Ubuntu means, quite simply, I am who I am because you are who you are. And if you are diminished, I am diminished. And the illustration that I've talked about before is the South African, he's actually an Anglican, but he's sort of an Anglican shaman, not priest, but shaman. And he said, if I have food and my neighbor is hungry, how can I not take food and share food with my neighbor who is hungry? If I have water and my neighbor's animals don't have water, how can I not share my water with my neighbor? I am diminished if my neighbor is diminished. It's that kind of attitude. It's the kind of idea that if I have the wherewithal to help someone who doesn't, how can I be human if I am not helping that person who needs it? In our international vision, we say something about forgiveness is the norm, whether it's forgiveness of perceived slights or forgiveness of debt. If someone owes you money and obviously cannot pay it, it's the forgiveness of that debt. This is all really foreign to us as Westerners. This is a foreign way of doing things. To meet love, to meet fear with love, to meet aggression with kindness, to meet need with compassion and generosity. That's the world that we envision, because we envision it based on the fact that we're all so interconnected as to be a single life. We are all so joined, we can never be separate from one another. And it's a huge vision. It is. But it's possible. Ernest Holmes said, I believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. So he did not only believe it, he knew it was going to happen. He knew it was going to happen. And as I said, the way that happens is one mind at a time, one life, one action at a time, one thought at a time. It's created by you and me learning to be loving and kind as our way of walking in the world. It's by you and me learning to bring all the light we can to shine on whatever's in front of us, to bring all the light we have inside, which is infinite light, to shine on whatever is in front of us. That's how we emancipate ourselves from discord of every nature. And that's how we show other people how to emancipate themselves from discord of every nature. And we change the balance of the world every time we do it. Every single time we do it. The other thing is it feels good. It feels good to live that way. I think that's why Holmes could say so confidently that this complete emancipation from all discord is sure to happen, because it feels good. It's much better to feel to live from a place of kindness and love, than it is to live from a place of fear and constriction. It just feels good. It aligns with that deep and true capital S self that is inside of each one of us. It aligns with our soul, you could say. It's a peaceful and productive and joyful and powerful and abundant way to live. And so why doesn't everybody live that way? Because it's not the way we're trained to live. We're trained to meet fight with fight, so to speak, and darkness with darkness, thereby increasing everybody's darkness. You know, society sort of teaches us when we're little kids, and you still see it all the time. I saw it in the store the other day. This man was telling his son to hit his sister back, and he was way stronger than his sister. She hit him, kind of play, and he socked her so hard she started to yell like mad. But you know, he's just doing what his dad told him to do. We're trained to sort of meet fear with our own fear and increase the fear. But if there's one thing we know, it's that darkness never decreases darkness. Only light can do that. And so that we know that when we bring our light, the darkness decreases. Because darkness is simply the absence of light. It's not a thing of itself. It's simply the absence of light. So if we bring it, there's light and no longer darkness. We also know it because we prove in our own lives over and over and over that what we give to the world is what comes back to us. Yes? Whatever we give out to the world is what we experience in life. And so if what we're giving out is fear and darkness and graspingness and greed, then that's what we get back. But when we live from this place of Ubuntu and loving kindness, what comes back to us is light and love and joy and a sense of ease and abundance in life. One of the things that always helps me when I think about what I'm here to do is to try and figure out better what it is. What is it I'm supposed to do? What is my role in all of this? And so I think one of the reasons people don't live from their own divine nature is because sometimes they don't know what that's supposed to look like or what they're supposed to do. They're not sure. And as human beings, we always like to know what to do. What is mine to do and how shall I do it, right? We all want to get A's. It's a thing we have. We all want to get the best grade possible. There is no grade, of course, but what I'd like to do today is just take you through a short process of visioning, which is one of the practices that we use to find out what is my role here and what do I need to become and what do I need to let go of. It's one of the spiritual practices that we teach here. And I want to talk about the practice for just a moment. Jerry Blumgold is our Vision Corps coordinator. We vision every month for the highest idea for this community and what it looks like and what we need to do, what we need to let go of, what we need to embrace in order to let that happen. But visioning is easy to confuse with visualization, and they're not the same. Visualization is using your imagination to consciously construct a picture. Visioning is being open to the answer that comes from your very deepest self, to the question. It's the thing that wants to rise up into conscious awareness from the divine that is the very source of your life. The process of visioning, therefore, is simply a process of paying attention to feelings and ideas and sometimes pictures, sometimes smells, colors, sounds, snatches of music, whatever it is that comes up from the open inner quietness that is right at the core of your being. And visioning sometimes doesn't make sense at first. Sometimes it only makes sense later when you go to do something and all of a sudden you remember that idea that came up from very deep within you and you see how it fits into your life. So if it doesn't make sense, that's okay. That's okay. It's a simple practice that's built around the structure of affirmative prayer that we also use here, which is not praying, trying to make a deal with God or to get something. It's praying, knowing. It's a knowing more than a plea. It's a deep knowing. And so we'll let our closing prayer just be part of this whole visioning process. And so I invite you to just let yourself relax and close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And let yourself pay attention to your breath. Let your awareness rest lightly on your breathing. And let the chair beneath you do all the work. Just relax your body. Yet maintain attention on the breath. Because right here in this state of relaxed attention, I know that God is present. God is present in all things, in all people, in all creation. Every grain of sand, every blade of grass, every animal, every human being. And I know that despite appearances, there's nothing else. There's only God expressing itself in various ways, expressing its light in various intensities. And I know that each person here is an incarnation of that life and an outlet for that light, expressing uniquely and preciously as each one of us can, because there's only one unique you, only one unique me. That life and that spirit and that infinite creativity lives at the center of each one of us, closer than our heartbeats. And breathing, I invite you to simply tune in and turn toward the very center of your being with an open mind and an open heart, and simply listen. Listen for the information that bubbles up from the divine intelligence, the infinite intelligence within you. And we simply ask our first question and then pause to listen for the answer. What is the highest vision for my role in creating a kind world? What is the highest vision possible for my role in creating a kind world? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? And then we just listen. And we ask ourselves, what must I embrace in order to step into this role? What must I embrace?